All right. And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad that you're here. We're stoked tonight. We have some special guests. One of those special guests tonight is Phil Russman. We also have Harley Milne with us. He's come to hang out. We've got I sent out an email last night, pretty much last second, to say, hey, we're going to have special guest on. We want to analyze a couple of crash videos and something that we've never done before, where we picked somebody that is someone that has a wealth of knowledge and is well respected in the sport, and to get their feedback, because anybody can analyze crash videos, but what really matters is somebody who's been around the block. And so Phil has been in the sport for many, many years, flying paramotors, free flying, and really stoked to have him on the show. I want to mention a couple sponsors. One of those is Midwest Parajet. MidwestParajet.com is their website. Also want to mention PPG Smoke. PPGsmoke.com is the website if you want to go check them out. PPGsmoke.com. All kinds of great stuff to add to your flying stuff. So floats, chase cams, lamels, headphones, all kinds of great stuff. Go check out their website right away. Also, paramotorprops.com is one of the sponsors. If you accidentally blow up a prop, you can get a new one really quick. I've done it. I blew one up, and I had one within the same weekend. I had one at my front door. I was ready to fly right after that. So really appreciate the sponsors, paramotorprops.com. Go check them out. I want to mention also Sean Nafsker's running moderation. He's going to spin the wheel at the half-hour mark, and Anthony Peregringo's taking care of the chat, and he'll be dropping some links for different things you'll see in the chat. And I want to say special thanks to Ripman for jumping on, and all the guys that responded to the email with the request for a video and stuff that we're going to analyze. A little background with Phil Russman. So I met Phil in my inspiration to fly. He actually had a presence on the web, and I found his phone number. I saw it said 619, and I said, oh, that's San Diego. I'm going to try to reach out to this guy. And I also talked to a couple of other people who mentioned that Phil was an instructor and that he knew what he was talking about. And so I reached out to him. He connected some dots for me and got me on the right path, because I was heading way down the wrong path when I first called him. And he got me in line, and then we became friends. And he's a neighbor and somebody that I fly with often when he's in town. Many times he'll be gone flying in the mountains of the Alps, and but when he's home, I try to fly with him whenever he's here, because if Phil's flying, it's probably going to be good, and you're always going to have a good time if he's around. So, Phil, can you please share just a little bit of your background for the people that don't know who you are? I want to mention also, he helped develop and write the PPG Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, I helped Jeff a little bit with the Bible. I did the risk and reward video, which some of you may have seen, with William Shatner, and done a couple of other documentaries, which some of which are online now. The Morning Glory, flying the Morning Glory wave cloud in Australia. That video is now available online. So
that's a great one, by the way.
Yeah.
So Russman has also, he's pretty humble. So he did some pretty extreme stuff, flying, adventure flying, but mostly what I would say Russman is known for is his free flying accolades, and I would argue, one of the pioneers of cross country here, at least locally, and breaking records, and just having some really unique things that he's done and pulled off. So anyways, pleasure to have you on. I'm so glad that you're here. What we wanted to do, and what I said in the beginning of the show, is that we sent out a letter, or I sent out an email, and the email was just, hey, we would like to analyze some crash videos. Now, I'm not trying to inspire you to go in and dig in, and Sean brought this up before the show, that when we when we sign up to look at crash videos, all of a sudden now our YouTube feeds get filled with crash videos, and I'm not wanting everyone to do this. Uh, that is something that I have stayed away from. I don't want a bunch of that coming through my feed, and I'm not interested in watching those. But there are a few videos that every once in a while people will send me that catch my attention. They say, "Hey, we can learn something from this." So I'm going to screen share right now, and this is a video. Phil hasn't seen any of these videos, by the way, that I know of. I have not shared uh, these with him for him to analyze or pre. So this is mostly spontaneous, but I guarantee you we're going to learn some things tonight. So stay tuned. I'm going to share my screen. This is a video that I saw yesterday or the day before, maybe, and really caught my attention and put kind of. Okay. Now I want to. We're going to break this down. I want to make sure I'm sharing the right way. I want to make sure I clicked the optimization video. Okay, yeah. So let me do this one more time. And then I want to just get your feedback on this. Obviously, it's windy. We can tell the glider is one of the newer Boom 12, which has got a very high aspect ratio and is a comp glider, a D wing. I'm going to turn off the sound for myself because it's so loud. You can see he launches into something that's a little bit unusual, I would say. Not really.
Do people have the opportunity to watch this on, are you sending the link to people so they can just find this on YouTube, or is this?
We can,
This,
but for right now, that what they see is what you're seeing.
Okay. Well, so the Boom 12, which is what this fellow's flying, is a comp glider. It's a CCC glider. It's not a D glider, and it's a 7.5, I think, aspect ratio wing. It's a great glider, actually. It's really, really a fantastic glider. However, you know, obviously, it is a super high aspect ratio skinny wing, and you really need to know what you're doing to fly this thing. Basically, what happens is he has a collapse, and he tries to recover it and just stalls the wing. And so, you know, maybe part of what we're doing here on this show is to kind of give people an idea how to analyze their own videos or any other video that they see online. And kind of what you want to do is you want to look at what's happening right before, during, and after whatever it is that happens. And so you've got somebody launching in windy, turbulent conditions with a high-end glider. So the risk is high, okay? So if something goes wrong at that point when you're close to the ground, it's going to be an issue, okay? So unfortunately, something does go wrong. He has this collapse, okay? And actually, what's really amazing about this glider, it seems, is that the glider doesn't really change direction very much at all. And which is a really good thing, because that's the one problem that you want to avoid when you have a collapse, especially when you're close to the ground. You don't want it to change direction, and this amazing glider does not. Now, what he starts doing right away, you can see his hand. Okay, so and Robert, this is really great that you just keep running this video. You can see his hand going up and down, and basically he's trying to pump it out. Trying to pump out the collapse. Well, it's not a terrible idea, but the problem is he just adds a little bit too much brake and basically winds up stalling the wing. So that's the you know, step one, step two, step three is coming. Step one is what happened, what's going on before. Step two is what's happening during, and step three is, well, what happens after the incident, after this collapse. And so, you know, he pulls too much brake and stalls it, and so probably maybe the solution here, or the lesson here, is let's just try and fly what we've got when we're this close to the ground. We don't want to try and be a hero and really just get everything just right really, really fast. We want to be really careful about what corrections we're making that close to the ground. Now, if you made
that is really good.
If he made that mistake, stalling it when he's at 3,000 feet, no problem. He just put his hands up, the glider just start flying again and pump out or fix that collapse or cravat or whatever happened and fly away. But because he's so close to the ground, you got to kind of have different priorities. And the priority is not necessarily getting that wing open. The priority is to keep whatever you've got flying.
He has about 5 seconds to make a decision that is going to drastically impact, and actually he's going to impact his decisions are, this is so split second. Every aspect of this, as soon as his feet are off the ground, you can see he's not very comfortable. I don't think he was ready to launch yet. I think when he gets into his glider, stumbling, it almost looked like
He got twisted.
I'm not ready yet.
Well, if we really, if we really wanted to dissect this, we'd have to take a look at each pull of the brake. There's an initial pull of the brake.
Right there. Yeah.
Right there, and then down again. Okay, so he hit it once right away, but then he came down right away again on it, and it was just too much. Now I can't see what's going on with the other hand, but it's possible he might have some brake on the other hand as well, and it was just not enough to keep that glider flying. That I would imagine. I've not flown that glider, but it's like some other gliders, they don't really have a wide operating margin, and you can't really slow them down. So because we're looking at an incident involving this very experienced pilot and this very high-end wing, to really dig down into exactly what he did wrong, we'd have to I'd have to spend a little bit more time with it, but it just looks like the second break was just, his impatience and too much too soon.
Yeah, you mentioned about obviously the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning there, what I see is right here when he takes off, he pumps his left brake and he looks up, and you can see that now you have the after effects of his heavy brake on the left, I think. And it's going to set I guess everything else into motion. But
everything is fine. He's doing everything right until the collapse, and the collapse is not his fault. It happens. That's the risk we take. Yeah. It's if we're going to say that he did something wrong and could have done something better, it would be about the recovery.
Yeah, that is really well said, Phil. The idea that we need to fix this thing completely immediately it's something that I would argue some guys are afraid of, that maybe half a second to a full second to make a decision, where if you didn't respond promptly and properly, it could send you into an event. But the idea, I really like what you said. You don't have to sort everything out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's fly what we got for a second. And even if the glider, it does want to come out by itself, it does want to fix itself. You can see that it did want to do that. His brake, like you said, his brake impressions, his reaction, you can see his arm falls with the glider. On the first collapse, it comes down very quickly. It's hard to tell in here. This glider is about to go away. Okay, he already felt it there. You can see his hand is already below his instrument panel there, and now all the way down. So he went with the collapse, which probably made it not quite as bad. It looks like it wanted to come back, but right here, he's got too much. You can see a lot of deflection. It's stalling. And I'm guessing that there was a gust of wind and maybe a little change of direction. And that took the wing out.
I would have to guess that there was not an urgency to open up that wing. And if he would have left it alone a little bit longer, he probably could have gotten a little bit more energy in the flying side, get himself a little bit more altitude, and sort itself out.
So Phil, I've got this
Energy.
question, which is that, it looked like he gave it a bit of break, but then he actually on the right side, and then he gave that back. It almost looks like if he just held that a little bit longer, because he was still getting a bit of lift there, he could have actually had it straightened out. But with it, I think you're right. Maybe if he did have a little bit more break there on the left, that eventually pulled him all the way back there. So I guess in my eyes, and this is what I guess my question to you is: do you think if he had just maintained that little bit of right break there, just to keep it flying into the wind, it probably would have opened up on its own anyway, and he would have kept flying forward?
Yeah, it's possible that if he'd have just leaned a little bit to the left and kept just a little bit of left brake on and left the right side of the wing alone, he would have flown away, and the glider would have picked up speed because there's less wing, and he would have the glider would have just kept flying. I mean, it looked like it wanted to keep flying.
Well, and here's another thing too that no one's happened to mention yet too: conditions.
Yeah, I was just going to say
fly in
that.
appropriate conditions. Don't pick a gusty day where it's going to be punch, 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 and you're just going to be bobbing all over the place like a bobber.
Well, this is a comp, and he's a very experienced pilot, and he's knowingly taking the risk, and that's
right.
Totally his choice. Flying to the moon, even now, is not a riskless activity, but we're going to do it. And we know the risks, and this guy did too. But I think that, for a newer pilot, like maybe their second day of flying, I think that it would be easy to say that, yeah, not the best conditions to be flying in.
Yep. I've launched in stuff that is questionable. I've flown in conditions. I know Phil has flown in conditions that are questionable. We take the risk. This is a leisure sport. It means we don't have to do it. I'm not flying to save lives, or I'm not flying for money or to feed the kids. It's literally just for entertainment and leisure. So having that said, this guy's launching. And now I wanted to bring something else up I thought of earlier. This is a newer glider to the scene. It hasn't been out it's less than a year. I'm just now seeing, I think Ryan is flying one, and there might be one other person flying one locally here. And having that said, this may be a new glider to this guy. I'm just guessing that I would love to have him on the show, but I'm guessing he was signed up and doesn't know his glider as well as maybe his last one. Again, triple C glider, no joke. You're gonna find out that that's a spicy meatball. Something that I did notice also, right when he launched, you see this gust. I can't tell if it's a gust of wind or if it is a thermal, but you can see he gains quite a bit of altitude on that left side, and then the other side of the wing goes away. Got to say thanks to the camera guy for keeping it still so that we can analyze this. And brutal. I hope he's okay. I don't know.
The glider is a very, very good glider. It's got this breakthrough technology, the leading edge, called we call it the whale turbicle. It looks like the front of a fin on a whale, and this, you can see that zigzag pattern on the leading edge. That's
Yes.
a very, very cool breakthrough in technology that Jin came up with. And this is a very good wing, really an excellent wing.
Yeah, I'm really interested in your feedback on that. So the serrated leading edge, do you think that this is going to be the new standard? I mean, there was a movement from the shark nose technology to this. Before shark nose, there was a movement from what they had to shark nose. Do you see this becoming a standard?
So new, but I know that they're testing other models. It seems to be a very good thing, but it's so new, it's really hard to know for sure, but it sure has all the indications that it's going to be a fantastic step up in performance for a lot of wings. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing what Jin does with it and what other people, other manufacturers do.
What are your thoughts about the other boom gliders? Have you flown any of those?
No, I've not flown any of the boom gliders. I've had some Jin gliders, but never flown the boom. I've just been talking to Ryan a lot lately, and I've been flying right next to him, like basically just neck and neck right next to him and watching. And we've been talking about the glider a lot. So that's kind of a different perspective, getting familiar with the glider while watching it and flying a glider that we both know and seeing how well this glider does against it.
Yeah. What's his feedback been? Is he liking it?
It's the best glider he's ever had.
No kidding. That's what he's saying. That's a high standard.
Yeah. I think that, he's, the Enzo 3 has been a fantastic glider for him. And it's got some things that are very cool about it. But this glider here is, I believe at this point, his favorite. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
He's flown a lot of gliders too.
Yeah. A lot of high-end gliders,
Yeah. So I want to analyze a paramotor video. This is from Ripman. Ripman shared this one with us. Let me see if I can pull this up, screen share.
So this is a friend of mine, and this is more for educational purposes on what not to do, not to mock him or anything like that.
Yeah,
we have a lot of people that. I think that when people get into an incident, the first thing that happens is that they don't want to talk about it, and then eventually they want to tell everybody about it so that it doesn't happen to their friends and other people in the community. So I think eventually, people really, really want to share their incidents so that they can get feedback about it and share the information.
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. I have one of those videos myself. It was embarrassing. And by the way, I'm very grateful, Phil, for you taking the time to analyze the video with me on my mistakes, because I learned so much from that. And even still to this day, I'll go back every once in a while and just run it through.
That was a great one.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to dial back the noise here. Let's see if we can get share this here. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the sound, but so he's obviously on radio here. You can hear somebody giving commands, and he sits too quickly. Now, there's a couple things right out of the gate that I noticed, and I just want to hear your feedback and see what your thoughts are on this. But I'm just going to keep replaying it, Phil.
Well, one thing that's important, an important part of the evaluation, it's kind of clear what happens here, but it would be nice to hear the motor, because a part of the situation is what is happening. What is he doing with power during this?
Yeah, let me give you sound. I'm going to share it with sound. Here's
okay.
This.
We can share it once with sound, and then we don't have to. Yeah. We don't have to hear it again.
No, that's a great idea. Oh, cancel. We need to cancel that. It doesn't want to let me share the sound. Let me see here. We're going to try this one more time. Stop share screen.
It's funny that during your intro of the sponsors, you were saying if you accidentally blow up a prop. Well, I don't know if anybody's ever blown up a prop on purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's arguable. Yeah. It's arguable with my lack of skills in launching that I should have known. Let's try one more time. Oh, why doesn't it want to let me do this?
Well, we can do it without sound
There we go.
if you have trouble with it.
Wow.
There it is. I can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. It's funny because it just decided to share my entire screen. Okay, let's just try it again. So
You
he
hear him say
Okay.
more power the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, and he blew up. I mean, he blew up his gas tank. He got a spray of gas all around him. That is terrifying to me. Okay, so let me. I need to stop sharing.
Let me add something to that real quick. So since that happened, I've been carrying a fire extinguisher and I leave it on my tailgate with the group I fly with, or whenever I fly. God forbid someone goes on fire, maybe we can, save his life and put him the flames out.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep. I'll say ever since we had a little barbecue at one of our flying sites, and I put one in my Jeep with that in mind. Oomfda.
Okay. So this is a pretty clear one. I used to be an instructor for paramotors and paragliders, but anyway, there were a couple of things that I would, after all the instruction, I would say, okay, now there's two things that you want to avoid when you're launching the paramotor the first time and forever. And one of them is jumping into the seat. I would actually show some videos of people jumping into the seat. And so what we would do is go through a procedure about when, they were going to get into the seat, which is like really when they're pretty far up in the air already. But basically, this guy looked like he was doing well, actually. The wing isn't oscillating. He's adding power. He was leaning forward a lot, but now he's leaning forward less. But he just kind of gave up and jumped into the seat, just jumped. And so that's basically what happened there. He might have been getting tired, which is understandable. Who knows how many launches he'd tried before that. But even that run can kind of make you tired. And he may have just given up. But people want to jump into the seat. And so you have to kind of get in the simulator and hang them and say, hey, look, I want your feet running into the air. I do not want you jumping into the seat. So
Bill, can I
anyway.
add something to that?
Sure.
So when the glider starts to create lift, it will pull the arms up. And when it pulls the arms up, it kind of pulls the seat up under you. So sometimes I notice a lot of people, they think when that feeling happens, they want to sit down instead of just continually running, and not letting the seat scoop you up.
Well, what I've noticed is that the seat starts, especially if it's not quite adjusted right, it will start to push against the middle of your thigh, the back of the middle of your thigh. And it kind of gives you this hint like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to sit down? Okay. So
Especially if you're tired.
Yeah, especially if you're tired. So it kind of nudges right against the back of the middle of your thigh and kind of tries to scoop you up, especially if you're leaning forward. So it can really, really help to practice in the simulator, get good adjustment, make sure that the seats, the leg straps on the seat are not too tight. The problem with having them too loose is it's tough to get into the seat. But, better to have a little bit more difficulty getting into the seat than having those leg straps too tight and that feeling against the back of the middle of your thigh trying to nudge you into the seat and making it difficult to run. The other thing is that if you add a little bit of brake, he was moving quite well, and he could add a little bit of brake, okay, to add a little bit more lift. And if he had just done that and just kept adding power, for sure he would have started to lift off. But it looks like, if I remember correctly about the addition of power, he adds power right there, and then it starts to lift him, and he figures it's over. I can jump into the seat now. So you have to fight that urge to jump into the seat when it starts to lift you.
You start to feel the lift, you think you're flying already.
Right. No, you need to keep running. And the other thing I tell the students is that, if you had to run with a paramotor on your back as fast at takeoff speed, if you had no wing, you would fall down. You would really get hurt if you tried to do that without a wing. But what's happening is, as you accelerate, the wings, the first thing that happens is the wing starts to lift the motor off of your shoulders, so you don't have to carry the entire weight and eventually none of the weight of the motor. Okay. And that allows you to run in a kind of a superhuman way with these really long strides. And I think that if you go over this with the student and help them understand that this is what they should expect and to resist this urge to jump into the seat, maybe that can help a bit. But for sure, you can do all of that, and they can still try and jump into the seat. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Yep. That was really, you drove that home for me. I remember you were very specific about that with me. Few different things, just a little bit of throttle as you're making your turn. All those little details were very drilled in before I even took my first flight. We want to do something. We want to give something away, as we always do, and promote the show.
I do remember seeing a video of that. Where Phil was getting on you about jumping into the seat too early years back. There was one sneaker that you got in there, and I was like, oh, that's Phil giving him good advice. Don't jump in that seat, Robert. You keep jumping in that seat. Will you stop doing that? And
my first instructor, I got my P2 at Marshall with Stephen Nowak, and that was one of the critiques he had for me when I was on the bunny hill, because I had already done probably 30, or I think I had 30 recorded launches at that point, and one of those, he said, "Yep," he goes, "You got in the seat pretty quick, and keep your landing gear down. Why you're not in the air? It all goes the same." So tonight we're going to give away one of these. I don't know if you can see this, one of the Booms retractable keychain saver deals. So you connect that to your phone. It's like a tether. So we're going to spin the wheel. I want to mention a couple sponsors. One of those is American Allied Drains and Plumbing. If you're in the San Diego area and you're in need of plumbing, you can reach them at 844-777-9055. And they said that if you are in need of a plumbing you have a plumbing situation and you mention Paragliding Talk, you instantly will get 10% discount on your entire bill. And so it's a worthy cause, and they support the show. It's pretty cool. Also, Nebraska PPG, Josh Bowden, he runs the school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting some top-notch training, you can do that with his team in Nebraska. There's a link in the description so you can get a hold of him. The spin of this wheel tonight is brought to you by Calamity Kite Clinic, literally dedicated to ground handling and learning how to manage your wing on the ground. And so Sean runs this training, so you can connect with him and maybe meet him at one of the fly-ins and get some lessons. Maybe you want to learn how to be a master of kiting. Well, that's the place to do it. Calamity Kite Clinic. Ooh, it's going to be close. I think Will Fly might be getting one of these here.
I don't know. It might be Wilson. I don't know.
Oh,
depends. I greased the wheel pretty good.
Yep. Oh, it's close. It's going to be right next to the line.
Oof.
Wilson,
winner.
Wilson is coming into the after show. He wants to talk about headsets.
Wilson, winner, chicken dinner. Congratulations. You are a winner. I'm glad that you were watching the show tonight. Congratulations. Please reach out to me at paraglidingtalk.com/contact, and I'll get this sent out to you as soon as I have your address. So appreciate that. Being a part of the show, and everybody that's in the chat. I'm a little disconnected sharing the footage, and I got it's just a little bit different than my normal operation. So apologize if I'm a little scattered tonight, but thank you. Oh, look, Craig Taylor's in the chat. What's up, Craig?
Yes, he is. He's been in there for a minute too. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Glad you're in the chat. So there's a few other videos that we had, and these are some videos that you've probably seen before. So we'll move through this next one. It's a really kind of a, I don't want to say, it just makes your stomach drop, because you can feel the guys. I don't know. I don't want to say pain, because I'm sure it hurt, but it was more of he just made a huge mistake. And let me just share the video here. Gosh, something's going on here with this. Share screen. And here we go. Share. Nope, not that one. Stop share. Got new computer, new mic setup. Okay, new idea for the program. Okay, we're not going to share sound on this one because it's just a little...
Need a new brain and you're good to go.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on here. It's not sharing the one I want to share. Okay, stop. Let's try one more time, guys. Yeah, that's fascinating.
Is it in a browser?
It's picking a different... Here, well, I'll fix this.
Broke the internet.
We'll close that.
You know, we've had technical. It's got to be a full Russman thing.
There we go.
Every time we've had
There
Phil on, we've had some kind of technical glitch of some sort. Have you noticed that, Robert?
I'm going to blame Phil for sure. Are you guys are seeing what I'm sharing, right?
Yeah, this one's going to leave a mark.
It hasn't started yet.
I got this spinning wheel.
I got a paused screen. There you go. Now we're back to us.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try one more again, and we'll see if it's just probably too much for this computer.
Too much for the new Apple computer.
It's actually an old Apple computer. Okay. Yeah.
Upgrade.
Yeah. It's from 2015. I actually just got it. So
it's never a good thing when a computer is named after a fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the biggest company in the world, so they didn't do too bad.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna try. Let's make this smaller real quick, and that might help.
You know what you can do
Yes.
for the future, Robert, is you can download these videos.
Yeah, I thought I did that when I originally put these on. Look at that. Just doesn't want to do it. Stop
Go on to the next one then.
You want to send the
Yeah.
URL to somebody else and have them share their screen?
Yeah, and then go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do that. Can you guys see what I'm
I'll pull,
sharing here?
yeah, I can pull the title. I'll pull it up and see what I can do.
Okie dokie, here we go. Yeah, it's just frozen. Let me see here. Share,
No, this is horrible.
copy. It's funny that it doesn't want to work while I'm literally send this in the private chat.
Well,
So
with
anyways,
the
this
limited
guy
amount
missed-
of brain cells that I have left, it's like this has been brought to you by Turd Computers,
Yeah.
the most excellent in
Stop
Turdom.
sharing. One of the things that I feel like as pilots, we make a grave mistake when we don't give ourselves a lot of landing options, especially with paramotoring. Something that Russman and Jeff Goen had shared that stuck with me is, you know that your paramotor is going to die by this one sign. It is a very evident sign. It's that it's running. That's how you know it's going to die. So it's going to happen.
Did you
want
see
me to pull
that?
this up, Robert? Oh, somebody else got it. Cool.
What was that, Russman?
I was just going to say, I was wondering if you saw the Colorado River flight that I did with Jeff.
Yes, I really liked that video. And you saw my comment, I believe. Hey, can you optimize the video for sharing?
I think we pretty much get the idea.
Yeah.
You know,
So
he didn't have an LZ.
Gringo had some, the guy there was a spot to land to the right, but something that I took away right away. The guy had this wonderful space of time, and then he didn't. It was like milliseconds now are mattering. You don't have to put yourself in that position. It's like, debt. You don't have to put yourself in a position of air debt. Can you share that this time with optimize video? Because it was really choppy. I don't know who shared that. I missed it.
Gringo, but it's
Where do I
okay.
do the optimized video?
Bottom left-hand corner, just before you share.
Okay, I see it. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, we all
And then-
watch a lot of videos with people flying over unlandable or very unlandable areas, over and over again. So we kind of get used to it. And when we're up there, we're thinking, well, everybody else does it. Maybe it's okay for me to do it. But eventually you're going to get bit.
Oh, I don't want to share the sound because that,
Too late.
don't share the sound
Can you see it?
because turn the sound all the way off.
Turn the
though.
sound off.
I think he cusses and he's in a lot of pain too.
I guess, maybe, so rather than just talk about the fact that, it's really better to have an LZ flight, maybe we could talk about how to crash. And sometimes it's better to just pick a nice soft tree and land in a nice soft tree rather than that hard building there.
Yeah.
Really good point.
That was always in my head, is to pick a tree if you're not sure.
Yeah, stay away from power lines and stay away from anything that's really, really hard. And yeah. So
I mean, really bad decisions here. I can see where he was thinking maybe he could get into the spot, but he's landing downwind.
well, it looks
Set up
like
and out.
it looks like it looks like he turned downwind and couldn't get it around, right?
Bubbles.
He ended up in the
It
tree
is-
anyway, so he might as well just have landed in the trees.
I think he was picking
Yeah.
that LZ, that little
Sure.
spot right there, but he overshot it.
Yeah, he couldn't bring it around. See, he's downwind now, right? Isn't he?
Oh, yep, for sure.
Yeah, better to land into the wind. If you're going to crash, better crash into the wind. You're going to be going a lot slower. if there's any wind.
Obviously a split second decision, you know.
Well, you know what? It doesn't have to be, because you can make the decision ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's you can
air
just look at your situation and say, okay, you know, if I don't make it out of here, this is where I'm going to go. If I don't make it out of here, this is where I'm going to go, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, have an LC.
Hug a tree.
Yeah, hug a tree.
Think
So
10
when
seconds before.
Something that and Phil touched on this a little bit. They had a great flight. Him and Jeff Hammond went and flew the Colorado River, and absolutely stunning views. And my comment was immediately when I saw the footage, Phil was shared it on his YouTube channel, which, by the way, you guys should go and check out his YouTube channel. It's really great. If you guys can.
What is it, by the way? Phil?
Light Touch.
No,
Films.
I've got two. I've got Light Touch, and then I've got Philip Russman, Philip Russman, Russman. And so there's some.
He's got a actual viral video with millions of views. I was shocked when I.
That's the one that's on the Light Touch Films. That's the bird video. But this is this Colorado one is on the other thread channel, which is Philip Russman versus Philip Philip, not Phil.
I put it in a link.
Great, thank you.
Just
I can
to me tonight, man.
I can send you. I can try and. I could screen share that shot if you want.
That'd be awesome. I didn't have that pulled up. I didn't think about it until we were already live on the air. But they had this great flight. My comment was not a whole lot of landing options. And Phil said I think his response was, "There's plenty of water to land in," and so literally his options are sheer cliff, edges to the lake or river, and water, and there's miles of it. And I want to just preface by saying we have Jeff Hammond flies some incredible adventure flights. Phil Russman also has been a part of many of those and inspired many of those, and led adventure flights like this. When you are setting these up, many of times Jeff Hammond will have a ground support crew already planned out. Someone will be working the ground. We did a flight out in middle of the desert, just over the hill for us, Ocotillo type. I think it was Painted Gorge, and we flew in about 30 or 40 miles, something like that, and back. But we had ground support, and what a beautiful flight. Something that we maybe don't consider, and the guys, what is that challenge, that the Wingman Challenge? Is that what it's called that they're doing right now?
Adventure Wingman,
that's what it's called. So these guys are really finding out what's happening in just random flying. You better have a plan for landing out, because it's probably going to happen. So never assume I'm just going to have a seamless adventure. Better be planning for something to happen. Now you can see how, and this is a pretty volatile place. If you land out, it's not going to be good. You don't have the convenience of having someone to come and get you with a car. It's going to be by boat. You're going to be waiting. You better have a GPS with you, means of communication.
I'm just moving forward to some of the more like really bad landing areas.
Is
this showing up?
Yes. Yes. This is the part that I was talking about right here.
Pretty remote.
Yeah. So I'd just like to point out that the number one cause of death in powered paragliding is drowning.
Bill?
Drowning.
So, but we are prepared for this. We have flotation gear, and we have basically undone some buckles. So we're going to get out but yeah.
Sheer cliff or water.
In a Cisco 120.
Yeah. Yes. Now, Harley, feel free to chime in here. Harley has flown some exceptionally interesting flights, situations where you're looking down and thinking, okay, I cannot right now have a motor out. It's just cannot happen. This area obviously is one of those sections.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a slightly different opinion from the common opinion about flying like your motor is going to go out on you every 5 minutes. When I reflect back on the engine outs that I've had in the past, they were all 100% avoidable. And it boiled down to, basically making sure that everything was in tip-top shape. If it is, the engine's going to continue to function. It's and especially with the reliability that we get from Vitarazi and Corsair now, it really boils down to maintenance. And I've had simple little things like a gas cap where it gradually got blocked over time from dust and dirt, and that would cause a vacuum on the tank and cause the engine to go out. To worn wires, things that aren't quite secure as they probably should be. And so kind of like if you treat it like an airplane and you do all the maintenance and you don't create those risks, then the opportunity of an out gets considerably lower. Obviously, like any good pilot, you're still assessing continuously, looking for somewhere that you would go if it does go, but you shouldn't be living in fear like it's gonna go out on you any second, for the entire flight. I think that removes some of the fun. And obviously, the higher your risk factor, like water and so forth, doing those pre-flights and post-flights and making sure that everything is absolutely as good as if it were brand new, I think is essential. And I think people often learn the hard way, and it boils down to maintenance a lot of the time.
Great feedback. Phil, I'm going to share my screen. If you can give me an allowance, there's one more video I wanted to get your attention. I want to mention maxacro.com, one of the sponsors of the show, by the way. Max Acro, if you want to get signed up with them, they've got some new stuff that's happening, some new sign up stuff. I think there's some I think there's some kind of a code that if you put in something to do with their marriage or something like that, I think you can I can't remember the code. I can tell you right now. But anyways, maxacro.com, sign up with those guys, get an SIV training under your belt. I did mine with them, and I had such a good time, and I learned so much. And when I came home, I just had this extra strength to fly. I was more aware of what my glider's abilities were. There's a lot of mysteries when you haven't gone through an SIV. If you've never done one, I was anti-SIV. I used an analogy. I used to tell people, why would you go and crash a car just to see what it feels like to crash? That was such a bad think. And so I'm so grateful got to do that. Go check out their website, maxacro.com, sign up for an SIV. I'll tell you right now what the codes are, because this is actually worth it. Here we go. Max Acro. Hey, everyone. Alumni gets the first time returning guest $100 off for a limited time to celebrate the wedding. Hitched. Use the word hitched for an additional $100 off. So if you sign up for SIV, you can get $100 off by putting hitched into the promo code. Okay. Also, I want to mention Lone Star Paramotor. Lone Star Paramotor, if you're in the Lone Star state of Texas, you can reach out to Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. Ron Turan's an awesome guy and has a great organization. Also want to mention iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. If you are interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get the proper training than iflyindiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. That's iflyindiana.com. Okay, I'm going to share my screen We're going to try this one more time. And now this video is a little different one. It is, but it is terrifying. How many of you have been on a launch before and you've seen a dust devil come by? I think they call them dusties in most of the world. Watch this video. Absolutely terrifying.
Wee.
Wee. I am appalled. Absolutely appalled. That's another video right there that we'll have to watch. I'm appalled at this guy's ability to maintain. If you watch, he actually keeps his hands up the whole time.
I mean, he flies it away. That's the
Oh, yeah.
He flies out of a dust devil.
Well, that
Do you
just goes to
notice- are
show
you
you,
seeing-
fly what you've got. You know, fly the aircraft that you've got available to you.
I mean, I am thoroughly impressed. I want to talk to this guy's instructor. Hands up.
Well,
Hands
we
up.
got him on the
Keeps his
show.
hands up. That guy flies away.
I'm looking at the mistakes on the people on the ground with wide open wings, watching that going around, not expecting it to come. I mean, they got a lesson right in front of them, and they don't gather their wing like the guy right there in the red and white. If you watch
That
the
dust
video
devil.
further, his gets plucked too, or to the most part, it gets torn
Oh,
up.
really?
Yeah,
Yep, right there.
you're just standing there watching it, like, ooh, that guy's.
Now, Russman and I actually, I experienced this firsthand. I'm sure Russman's had other experiences with dust devils coming across the launch, but we were at Little Black one day on a day that there was supposed to be some east wind, and we still attempted to make a day of it because it had potential. But while we were standing on launch, we have our gliders laid out. Something started to whisper into our launch area, and Phil kind of grabbed his glider just at the right time. All of us were still kind of unpacking. Phil kind of, oh, you know what? I'm going to just put this away. And sure enough, seconds later, this dust devil comes rolling on through. By the way, when thermals are cracking off, there's typically going to be a vortice somewhere around a good strong thermal. It's going to happen. You've got some air exchange happening. You've got cold air being replaced with hot air, all that. So anyways, very fascinating. Any feedback on that video we shared, Phil?
Well, that guy, whatever he's doing, he needs to keep doing it because he was super lucky.
Yeah.
And as you said, he did a great job of flying what he had.
I mean, golly, just keep your hands up, and that glider wants to fly.
Yeah, they all want to fly. They really do. They're designed to, if something happens, they want to start flying again. So let it.
Yeah, let that thing fly. We'll share. This is the icing on the cake video. This is a video that's boggled my mind, and I'm interested to hear Phil's response to this. Let me see if I can go back to share. Okay, it's right after this one. This is a pilot that everyone knows, Kriegel Maurer.
Purposely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a bird.
Yeah.
You seen this video before, Phil?
Yes, I have. It's a fantastic video. Yeah, it's I have done this kind of landing, but not on a bunch of rocks right next to a waterfall. But I've done it on a grassy hill uphill into the hill, and basically you speed up with some speed bar, and then at just the right moment you ease up on the bar and add a little bit of brake and fly right up the hill and land.
So before you go out and try this, guys, I want to warn you, this is absolute top level, excellent piloting.
Bad skills.
There's a really good chance that you're not going to be able to pull that off.
Well, the problem is that you can't really do a go round.
Yeah. You don't get the wonderful wind in your favor. You don't have a chance to hit the gas and go around. Yeah. Oh, I did fail to mention one other sponsor, which is Resurgence PPG. Thank you, Sean. I saw that in the chat. Resurgence PPG, if you're interested in supporting our men and women of uniform, you can make a tax-deductible donation to resurgenceppg.com. When you do that, you're supporting our men and women of uniform. And a lot of these guys have PTSD when they come back from battle. They purposely try to help these guys, and paramotoring is one that really helps them to take their mind off of what happened. And it is just a great organization. Resurgenceppg.com. Support them. That's 1 hour. I know that was quick, guys. I thank you so much for your feedback. Harley, Ripman, you guys are awesome. Thank you. Anthony Peregringo, Sean, especially Phil, for taking the time. I know Phil is constantly on some kind of adventure, so to nail him down is like to ask one of my kids to take a shower. It's hard to get him to stop having fun. And so thank you, Phil, for coming in and spending some time with us. And you're always willing to give back to the community. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. We're going to go to the after show. So stay tuned. The guys are going to drop the link up. It's already in the passcode. Gringo's on top of it tonight. So we're going to go to the after show. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, hit subscribe on the button there, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can get notification when we're going to go live. And then also, if you want to support the show and keep something like this going, you can support it on Patreon or PayPal. There's links in the description. So thanks for watching. Have a great night. You guys are awesome. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night. If I don't see you on the next one, if I don't see you